All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another WNBA off-season video. In this video, we are going to talk about the 2026 WNBA GM survey, 20 questions ahead of the 30th season for the WNBA. I'm going to react to this. I've barely seen anything for this, I should say. This is my first time looking at it. I did this last year. It was a lot of fun. It was a very long video. I'm going to try to make this one a little bit shorter. But if you like what I say, like the video. If you have any opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So yeah, I did this last year. I meant to watch my video from last year. I kind of forgot to. I was kind of busy this morning, so I didn't get to watch it. But here we are. We're going to talk about this one. I have some just random players and like random things kind of semi-related to who I think could be in the WNBA GM survey. So that's who's in front of you. But let's just jump right into it. I am just going to do a couple. I'm not going to do all 42 questions. I don't want to steal their whole thing. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the comments or down below in the description. If you want to check out the survey for yourself, I encourage you to do that. The WNBA season starts May 8th. So we're right around the corner. This will probably be the last WNBA video, off-season video for a long time, because we're gonna get right into the season. So let's get into it. The WNBA GM survey by Sheila Grimer for WNBA.com. This was released yesterday. I am pre-recording this, so I don't think anything will change, but just putting that out there. Let's get into the first question. Predictions. This is the predictions category. Which team will win the 2026 WNBA Finals? We'll go from bottom to top. And at number 3, with 27% of the vote, is the Atlanta Dream. That's interesting. I think people are overhyping the Dream, if I'm going to be quite honest. I really do think they're like overestimating them. The gelling that needs to happen with a team when you bring in a player like Angel Reese, who requires so much of the offense to be set up for her, since she's not a great, how would you say it, not a great creator. Like, she can create her own shot on the offensive glass very well, but like breaking people down, other than just like putting her shoulder into people and like using her weight, her creation on the offensive end isn't great. And you do have Ryan Howard, you have Alicia Gray, you do have Jordan Canada still. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody in that mix, but I don't know if I would have them at 3. I mean, I'm surprised they don't have the Liberty higher. I mean, the Liberty kind of had a dud of a year last year. I'm surprised the Wings aren't 3, to be quite honest. I mean, they are a very young team, but they put together a very competent team. So Atlanta Dream at 3. At number 2, New York Liberty. Well, there they are at 33%. That's probably right around where I would have them as well. Like I alluded to, after I realized that they were at 2. I'd have them here. I really Sabrina Ionescu is going to miss the first couple weeks of the season with an ankle injury or ankle/foot injury, I believe it is. So they might be hampered a little bit, but this is just to win the final. So assuming that everybody's healthy for all these teams, perhaps I guess these would be the top 2. And then at number 1 at 40%, my number 1, Las Vegas Aces at 40%. That's right around where we should be. As a Las Vegas Aces fan, this makes me very happy, and I have no notes. I just hope that the regular season treats us better than it did last year. I will note, just for the rest of this video, in case you're new, welcome, hello. I am a Las Vegas Aces fan. I've been a fan since they were the Stars, and I've been watching the WNBA for 10 years, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. And also of note, people have been on the WNBA GMs. They've been on them for a little while, especially with the draft, the weird draft that we had, the draft process that we had. And people are kind of losing faith in these GMs that are in control of these teams and don't think they know what's best. And there are a lot of internet GMs, and I put my internet GM hat on every now and then. But I'm starting to agree with the people, the masses, that like a lot of these GMs don't know what they're doing. And there's a lot of swings and there's a lot of misses, and it's been documented here how I felt about the draft. But genuinely, I hope this survey doesn't expose them further. The things that I have heard about this survey weren't great. A lot of people were not content with some of the results of this. And again, this is my first reaction to this stuff, so I don't know. And yeah, and just for reference, from the GM poll last year in 2025, they had the Minnesota Lynx winning at 60%, winning the WNBA championship. So that just goes to show you what can happen in a WNBA season and how wrong these GMs can be that they thought Minnesota, with a full 60% of the vote, was going to win the championship. And the Aces ended up doing it because they have the best player in the world. Yeah. Okay, so who will win 2026 Kia WNBA MVP? We will start with the honorable mentions. Um, People also receiving votes. There was Caitlin Clark, fair, and then Alicia Gray. I think Alicia Gray, she counts as a guard, right? Yeah, she's a guard. I think Alicia Gray is one of the few guards that probably could win MVP, because winning MVP as a guard in the WNBA is very hard. It's very forward center based. The last guard to win WNBA MVP was what? Diana Taurasi, right? Diana? Was it Diana? Yeah, it was Diana, I think. And I think Alicia Gray has something in her where she has the highlights, she has the moments. At this season, she's probably gonna have a very good team. I could see her in the running. I would at least like to see her in the top three at the end of the season. She's probably been in the top three or like at least the top five for sure over the course of the last couple years. But I would definitely like to see her in the last like finalist graphic at the end of the year. Caitlin Clark, listen, Caitlin, listen, Fever fans, she's just got to play. I don't even care if she's in MVP conference. She just got to play. Last year was so horrendous. It was so bad. And like moments she looked really great, and you could see why she was the number one pick and why she's regarded as one of the better guards in this league. But she needs to start playing, man. Because if you don't start playing, then people are gonna start forgetting about you. And when they start forgetting about you, they stop putting you in these polls and they stop asking about you. And I think I think this is a thing for a lot of WNBA players. The fans that they bring and we'll use the word aura, the aura that they have, and the mysticism, the aura they have around them outweighs their actual production in their career thus far. There are a lot of players like that, especially in the last couple of drafts, where it's like your production doesn't meet the fandom that you bring, you know. But moving on to number two, with 27% of the vote, New York Liberty forward Brianna Stewart. I have feelings about Brianna Stewart. Brianna Stewart is one of those cases where I feel like she's so like she should be washed. She totally should be washed. But every time I feel like she's getting more and more towards washed, she kind of like brings me back around because she's still playing very high level defense. She's a smart player. The three ball was the worst of her career last year. If she repeats that, then she's not being an MVP conversation. But if she can get back somewhere to like the average at least, I think she can be in these conversations once again. And she's already won the MVP and she knows what it takes. And I I think I had her. What I had a number four in my video where I ranked the top 50 players this year. I think I had her at number four, right? Number three and number four. So yeah, she's around this ballpark, which is fair. And the 27% is indicative of the belief that she still is a very high level player around the league and regarded as a high level player around the league. Um, at number one, at 60%, Las Vegas Aces forward slash center Asia Wilson, was he 3 time, 4 time? I'm losing count how many MVPs she has. Yeah, she's my favorite player. Yeah, my favorite WNBA player. Um, what more is there to do? What more is there to say? If she just keeps racking them up, the only thing that's going to defeat her from winning MVPs is voters' fatigue. She is the best player by a country mile every day of the week. There's no WNBA player better than Asia Wilson, and I will. This is not a hot take. I think some of the newer fans will be like, well, why is Asia? Asia's been out this doing this for a while. If you weren't a fan when she was winning her first MVP, I don't want to hear you talk about who the best player is because you did not see greatness in action. You did not see the player that I saw coming out of South Carolina to where we are now in 2026. Um, you didn't see that. And no offense, you don't deserve to be in these conversations. If you just started watching, you obviously can enjoy it, but I don't want to hear, no offense, Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese. I don't want to hear that nonsense. They don't got a bag like Asia Wilson. They don't have the tenacity, the ferocity of Asia Wilson. So that's the if I had to vote, I would obviously pick Asia Wilson. So there it is at 60%. And then last year, the top vote getter was Nafisa Collier at 67. And Nafisa Collier went accolade-less last year. No Defensive Player of the Year, no MVP, no championship. Um, a lot of people were high on her last year. I was high on Nafisa Collier last year. I said for about like how many months is WNBA season? Like 5 months? Yeah, like 5 months ish. I was like, Nafisa Collier felt like the MVP, but Asia Wilson looked like the MVP, and the load she was carrying and the stuff she did in the regular season. And this is a regular season award, so in my mind, for like half of the year or half of the season, Nafisa Collier was my MVP. And then she got injured, and Asia Wilson took off, and the award was just stolen right out. And that's what's going to happen, in these conversations and in these award races. Sometimes a player's going to look like the MVP or the Defensive Player of the Year for half the season, and then something goes wrong. Their team starts losing, they get injured, and then another player pops up, and they just take all the votes and all the eyes off of that player, and the player that's rising gets it. All right, let's move on here. If you were starting a franchise today and could set any player in the WNBA, who would it be? Now, this is very interesting to me because this is some GMs are predicate their choice on age, um, which is fair because like you're thinking like a GM, you're like, well, if I'm starting a team and I can sign it, but I want the youngest player possible with the most upside, so I can have the longest runway to build a good team around them and make mistakes and correct my mistakes and finally find a good team that could be around them. Um, let's start with this is crazy. Um, okay, so if you're starting a franchise, who could you sign? If you could sign anybody, was the question to the GMs. Also receiving votes slash honorable mentions: Brianna Stewart, Nafisa Collier. Uh, right now, at this point in their careers, Nafisa Collier is injured, so no. And then Brianna Stewart, like I said, I think at the time she looks washed. She's still really good on defense. She still leads a team. I understand it a little bit, but it's a no for me. And then at number three, and this is the person I would have voted for, even though I love Asia Wilson, the age does play a factor as well. This is the person I would have voted for. Seattle Storm forward slash center Dominique Malanga. That's who I would have voted for. She got 13% of the vote. There's just so much upside with her, and the runway's so clear, and she's gonna, if I'm thinking like pairing her with other players, she's the easiest to pair with. Like you get a guard, you get a really good guard, you get a defensive forward, and you just fill in the four and the two spot. You're golden. You got a team right there. You're going to the playoffs every year. Barring injury. So that's who I would have voted for. She's at three, and then tied for number two, both at 20%. Asia Wilson and Caitlin Clark. Um, as much as I like Asia, if we're starting a franchise, I don't think Asia or Caitlyn can really do it by themselves. If we're starting a franchise and you look at teams, like actual teams that were started or starting this year, the Toronto Tempo and the Portland Fire, you put Asia Wilson or Caitlin Clark on those teams. Are those teams any good? Mm, maybe they're a borderline playoff team, but like I don't think I'd start a franchise with either of them. Maybe Caitlyn because she's a little bit younger and I can work with Caitlyn. Asia, I'm still like mesmerized of how they built that team around her and how it all fell into place so perfectly. You couldn't have thought it up any better for Asia Wilson. I'm not saying it's hard to build around Asia, but it just came so together and so easily. I don't know. And then the Caitlin Clark piece of this is she's a guard. You literally just need defense around her and shooters and a solid big, and you're golden. And that's it. And then you can just make a run for the championship every year, injuries permitting, and her being healthy. And then this is the one that a lot of people got upset about, this question, and then the result, the final victor of this poll. Number one, Dallas Wings guard, Paige Beckers at 33%. Um, I don't know how to feel about Paige. She's only played 1 year professional basketball. I get she's very unique in the play style she plays, at least for a guard. You know, the confidence and everything she brings, and the trust she has in her mid range jumper. But the mid range jumper is all she got. Her playmaking's her defense is her rebounding you know, her this is another thing also, and I should have said this about Caitlin Clark too, because it both applies for both of them. The complaining, the constant complaining to the refs. Like I say this as somebody who's a big fan of Luka Doncic in the NBA, and Luka's the biggest complainer in the NBA. Shut up and just play basketball. Like I'm tired of you complaining to the refs. Like if you want to complain, complain to the coach. Wave the finger. Let your coach challenge the call. And if the coach doesn't want to challenge you, guess what? Then it is what it is. Um, that's another thing about Paige Beckers I don't like. Um, I do like the environment she's trying to build in Dallas. I do commend that. The culture building and the culture setting that Paige Beckers brings to a franchise. And if you were to start a new one, you probably want that. I just don't know if Paige is going to be anything more than just a mid-range, like a DeMar DeRozan in the NBA. Like I just don't know, and maybe that's enough to get by in the WNBA. But Paige Beckers might just be DeMar DeRozan in the NBA, and I wouldn't start my franchise with DeMar DeRozan. Now the upside is her age, her leadership, the environment she's bringing. So I can understand the 33%, but yeah, I don't know about that one. I still might take. I would take Dominique. That would be my vote. Again, I would take Dominique. She's a big. It's an easy build. It's fair. Last year's winner was Caitlin Clark at 50%. Let's see. All right, let's continue here. Um, hmm. Let me just uh blaze through these questions. Okay. Let's get through a couple more. Which player forces opposing coaches to make the most adjustments? Now, this is GMs talking about coaches and which players make the coaches make the most adjustments. Honorable mentions include Caitlin Clark, I guess, sure. She only played 1 year, literally 1 year of basketball. I guess in that 1 year, the sample size that you have, you would have to like cater your defense to stop her. So yeah, Nafisa Collier, yeah. Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, you saw what the Aces did in the in and I don't know about the Kelsey Mitchell one. The Kelsey Mitchell one is for me. It's I think if you go at her on offense, like, and she's the defender, and you just go at her over and over, and you get her in the pick and roll, and you make her tired, she's gonna be tired on offense, and that's how you stop her. I don't think that's something. As a coach, I think that's something. This is again GM's talking about coaches, and I think this Kelsey Mitchell one is a bit out of pocket. Kelsey Mitchell, no offense, is so easy to stop if you just really sit down and think about it. Brianna Stewart, I mean, maybe like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, sure, but we will actually see how unguardable Brianna Stewart is in this opening week without her co-star in Sabrina Nescu. So she's gonna have the load on her. We'll see how veteran and seasoned Stewart can carry that load for the first couple weeks of the season. Um, and then the next one also, I don't understand this one either. Alyssa Thomas at 13%. She doesn't have a jump shot. Like, sag off of her, build a wall. Like, are we seriously like thinking that this is hard to stop? Like, did we see the Aces in the finals? Did we all watch that, right? We all watched the finals, or do these GMs not watch the finals? Like, I'm confused. Like, she's so easy to stop. She doesn't have a jump shot. Her shoulders don't work. Like, what are we talking about? Like, at 13% at number two, like, get out of here. Get out of here. This is what I'm talking about with the GMs. Like, come on, man. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? She's hard to stop? Really? Really? Like, granted, okay, maybe in the regular season she's hard to stop. When she have to play like a series against her and you can game plan for her, hell no, dude, come on. And then number one, Las Vegas Aces forward, Asia Wilson. That's 60%. Yeah, yeah. No notes. Just watch the tape. Watch the tape. That's it. Um, Most likely to have a breakout season next season, or this season, I should say. Starting end of this week. Or when you guys get this video, actually, yeah, when you guys get this video, we'll know. Which player is most likely to have a breakout season? Receiving votes. I'll just go through a couple of these. Again, I don't want to steal their whole article here. Cam Brink, sure, yeah. Paige Beckers. These are honorable mentions, by the way. Cam Brink, Paige Beckers. Those are kind of like obvious ones. I think Cam being the full time center or forward, whatever they're going to do with her, has the opportunity to. Paige Beckers obviously having a better team will make her look better. So breakout season. Ryan Howard. I think I'm going to swerve and I'm going to zag a little bit. I think Ryan Howard's going to have a really tough time with Angel Reese and Alicia Gray, and she's gonna have to find her role again. And I said this in another video. Ryan Howard's been very stagnant her last couple years in the WNBA. She's had great numbers, don't get me wrong, but it's been very stagnant with the scoring. And if there is a time to break out, it is this season to reassert yourself as like the number one or the number two on the Atlanta Dream. But uh, I'm not. I hope she has a breakout season, but I'm not like holding my breath. Marina Mabry on the expansion team, of course. Expansion team, no good players except her and Brittany Sykes. She's gonna get a lot of shots. She's gonna have a lot of opportunities. Could break out. She had a really good unrivaled season this past winter, so we'll see. Jackie Young, Las Vegas Aces. I said this. I had her ranked. I had Jackie Young as like a top 5 player in the league next year in my top 50 players going into next year. And I'm going to stand by that. I don't know if by merit she's going to have a breakout season, but I think she's going to be the best all around guard next year. Best, unless we won't say best shooter, but we'll say like best shooter all around. Like her true shooting is going to be really good. Her rebounding is already really good. I think her playmaking can take another jump. I think her defense is already all world. She just needs to do it more consistently. And yeah, and then we move to the actual percentages here. Tied for number one, both receiving votes here. Rakia Jackson and Dominique Malanga. So, riddle me this one. If you think this player is going to have a breakout season, right, Dominique Malanga, then why didn't you vote for her to start a franchise with today? If she's going to have a breakout season this year, why didn't she get more votes? What's the logic behind that? What's the you have to explain. You have to elaborate because that doesn't make sense. You know, just say it. Just a thought. Just a thought. Just a thought, guys. Just a thought. And then I already said my spiel about Dominique Malonga. I mean, she had a really good unrivaled. She played really okayish in the France when she played for a national team in the thing that they did. I forget what it's called. I've been talking about it all winter and all spring, and I forgot what the name was, but she played okay. And then Rakia Jackson tied for there. Rakia Rakia's been flying. Isn't Rakia like a? Isn't this her second year? Hold on, wait. No, this is her third year. Um, if you would have asked me a couple weeks ago, I probably would have said Rakia Jackson would definitely be the breakout player. But they got so much stuff going on over now, going over in Chicago. So many veteran players. I'm worried that she's gonna have trouble finding her spot. And then once she finds her spot, she might be able to like in like the second half of the season. But that first half is gonna be weird. So many players. There's only one basketball. It might be tough. She might be relegated to the same thing that she was in Los Angeles the year prior. And she was a really great player, but wasn't breakout material. So we will see. Okay, now we're gonna get through these a little bit more. These are just best at point guard, shooting guard, small forward. We'll go through a couple of these. You don't have to go through all these, and I'll tell you the winners of all of them. Um, the best point guard in the WNBA. Oh, also last year, Satu Sabali was the most likely to breakout player. I guess she kind of did. She got to the finals, and she was a big part of that. So yeah, sure, give it to her. Moving on. Who's the best point guard in the WNBA? Number 3, Paige Beckers. Um, 7%. Number two, Caitlin Clark, 20%. So again, I'm gonna I'm gonna go I'm gonna go back to this. How can you vote Caitlin Clark above Paige Beckers and who's the best point guard right now? But if you wanted to start a franchise, you have Paige Beckers above Caitlin Clark. It doesn't make sense because the question says today. So like, I guess again like some GMs value youth, but they're the same. Like, they're the same. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm working myself up for nothing. Because it doesn't matter. Because both those women are talented, Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark, in their individual right. Paige just needs to win more because the Wings were awful last season, and Caitlin Clark just needs to play more in general. Um, and they're both very talented guards. I'm surprised no honorable mentions for this one. I mean, as biased as I can be, I would love Jackie Young to be on here, but I could understand why you have these other two. And then they do have another Las Vegas Aces guard at one, the point guard, Chelsea Gray at 73%. Oh, man. Chelsea Gray, where do I start? Similar to Brianna Stewart, I kept thinking Chelsea Gray was washed. She's had some really meh regular seasons, but she's one of the best in the business, being a playoff riser, just rises to the occasion. Um, I can't deny it, and I have no thoughts because they have my starting point guard of my Las Vegas Aces at 73%. So can't be mad there. And then last year, Caitlin Clark and Chelsea Gray split the vote 50-50, um, tied for best point guard. Best shooting guard, I won't go through the numbers. I don't want to spoil the whole article, but the winner was Jackie Young. Is Paige Beckers a shooting guard? Wait. Oh, I hate when these GMs vote because they should tell the GMs, hey, this player's this player's that. They play this position. Paige Beckers cannot be the third best point guard and then be whatever percent she is at best shooting guard. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. Fix that, and this happens in the NBA poll too, the GM poll. It sucks. Give the GMs the parameters, please. Like I hate seeing these players twice. Like, is Paige a point guard? Probably not, but she probably is more comfortable at the point, and she's a bigger point guard, so it helps her out on the offensive end. But like, come on. Best shooting guard in the WNBA next year is gonna be Jackie Young at 27%. Amen to that. No notes. I already gave my whole spiel about uh, Jackie Young. And then who's the best forward? And then we do it again right here with Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson is listed as a forward, as a power forward, and a center. It doesn't work like that. I mean, she does play both positions, but like you have to label her as one for these polls because then some of these other ladies don't get their flowers. You know. Um, yeah, I guess we'll move on to best center. Asia Wilson's the best center by far. I guess I don't like her at center personally. I think she's more comfortable and looks better at the four, but she has had to play a lot of five recently, and you know what? It's worked, and she won an MVP as a center too, and she's won an MVP as a forward, so she's the greatest at both. I guess you could put it that way. Um, let's see here. Which questions do I want to do here? Because the video is getting kind of long, and I can see the scroll around the right side of my screen. There's a lot of questions here. Um, but let's just rapid fire these. Off season. This is the off season category. Which team made the best overall moves this off season? Atlanta at 33, Dallas at 47. Dallas, I'm gonna be honest, is so overrated. That team is so freaking overrated. It's just not. Y'all are gonna see. Rookie coach. They don't have a real center. Kind of, sort of. Alana Smith isn't gonna be that rebounding presence that you think he's gonna be. That you think she's gonna be. Paige might be great. AZ's gonna struggle. Mark it down. AZ's gonna struggle at least the first couple weeks. Um, did not have an inspiring preseason, so I'm not hopeful that she'll have an inspiring regular season, at least to start. I think Atlanta had the best offseason. I really do. And they made one move, and then they made a counter move and didn't bring back Brittany Griner. So now they have a really interesting team that is going to run different stuff from last year. They're going to run more stuff that they did in the playoffs when they went smaller, which is going to help them. Even though they got exposed in the playoffs, I would have voted Atlanta here, to be honest. I mean, Chicago's there, but I feel like Chicago's busy in the kitchen. New York, what did New York even do? What did they do? They just hired a new coach? The New York GM definitely voted for himself there. What the hell? And the Las Vegas Aces, I wouldn't have voted for them. I don't think they had a real good off season. It was good enough. They're the best of good enough in the off season. I would have voted Atlanta here. Yeah, I would have voted Atlanta. Which player acquisition will have the biggest impact? Angel Reese and Gabby Williams are both tied at 27% at number one. I like both of these. The Angel Reese one is wait and see. I'm gonna have to see. I'm gonna have to see how Coach Carlson Mesco really uses her. How awkward it's gonna be at some points, but how brilliant it's gonna be also at other points. And then Gabby Williams is just gonna be the adult in the room for Golden State and be a really good defender and have her offensive game open up even more. Um, Probably the most open it's ever gonna be in her career. So we'll see there. There's some other interesting names here, but I'll let you check out the article for yourself. Um, what is the most underrated player acquisition? I actually want to get into this one a little bit. So, honorable mentions: Astler. I don't know who that is. Maybe I've seen that name. I don't know who that is. Maybe I've seen it. I don't know. Monique Billings, Indiana. I do like that one. Again, I'm going to be interested to see how she fits in. I think she's going to be fine. She played really well with Caitlin Clark in the when they played in Puerto Rico together on the U.S. national team. That was good. Um, Kennedy Burke, Connecticut. I mean, Connecticut's a dumpster fire. I don't really care about Connecticut at this point. They're going to be the Houston Comets again, so who cares? NECA, I don't get how that's underrated, but sure. I mean, NECA. Actually, no, I do get how that's underrated because I had NECA as my second best player in my top 50 players video, and actually, yeah, I get that. Yeah, underrated. Yeah, I think she's gonna be good. She's gonna be good back in LA, back home. Um, and then Nara Sabali for the Toronto Tempo. Nara's never showed me anything that I'm like she's underrated. She's properly rated. Let's keep it real. And then Erica Wheeler, Los Angeles Sparks. Sure. Let's get into the actual percentages. Underrated acquisitions. Rakia Jackson, number three, Chicago Sky Forward. We already talked about her, 14%. And then tied for number one, both 21% each. Alana Smith, Dallas, and then Ariel Atkins, Los Angeles. I'm going to be very interested to see what Alana Smith does. Because coming off her best year as a pro, getting some hardware as the co-defensive player of the year, in a new system with a rookie coach, in a new city, in a new system, how much of Alana Smith was the system is my question. And it's going to be answered very soon. I guess for the moment, if you're just going off name and what they bring, sure, it's underrated. But like, I'm very interested to see if in like even like a month, is this gonna be considered underrated, or has Alana Smith always been properly rated and now we're kind of underrating her because she's on the Dallas Wings and they were a bad team last year, so just by merit she's gonna bring them up with her defense. But I don't know. That's a weird one. I don't know how to feel about Alana Smith. I've been a Alana Smith stan for a very long time. I remember when she was in Phoenix Mercury jersey. I remember when she was, in Chicago for a little bit. Right? She was in Chicago, yeah. Um, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about her duplicating what she did last year. And maybe she doesn't have to duplicate what she did last year, but you're paying her like you want her to duplicate it like she did last year. So we'll see. And then Ariel Atkins. Ariel Atkins, I don't know how to feel about Ariel. She was on Chicago last year, and she was just, when I watched it, like she popped off the screen a little bit, but I was never like, whoa, whoa. I don't know. She's tied for number one, so it doesn't really matter. And then last year, the most underrated player acquisition was Sophie Cunningham, Ariel Atkins again, and then Dejanay Carrington. Dejanay, oh, that's right, because Dejanay was in Dallas, right? And then she got traded midseason. I guess the Sophie Cunningham one was actually the most underrated one if you're going off last year, yeah. Most surprising move of the offseason. Um, All right. I'm gonna do these I'm gonna do these last two, this one and another one, and then I'm gonna skip over a couple ones because again, I don't want to steal the whole article. Most surprising off-season move. So surprising, not underrated, not whatever, just surprising. Um, Also receiving votes slash honorable mentions. Bridget Carlton going to the Portland Fire. Sure, yeah, I guess that was surprised. Yeah, I was surprised. Skylar Diggins going to Chicago. That was actually really surprising. That would actually been my vote. I'm gonna be real. Rakia Jackson, Toronto Tempo, Marina Mabury, that one too. That one and Skylar Diggins probably would have been the ones for me. And then Jay Sheldon going to Chicago, and then Brittany Sykes going to Toronto. Sure, sure, I guess. Um, Tied for number two at 15%, Alana Smith and Angel Reese. The Angel Reese one didn't surprise me. We all know she was going to be moved eventually. We didn't know if it was going to be last season, mid-season, this off-season, or mid-season, this season. If you were tapped in, you knew. I don't know how the GMs didn't know this was like surprise. I guess maybe the destination was surprising, but like her being moved overall wasn't for me. Alana Smith, that was fairly surprising. I mean, if you monitored the whole Minnesota situation all off season, even dating back to when they were eliminated, you kind of knew this team wasn't going to be the same. It was going to be sort of maybe a gap year, and I was rallying for them to actually, maybe tweak the team a little bit. And I didn't know it would involve losing so many players, but they've managed to retain a lot of good players, and they got a really good draft pick, and it worked out for them. So I was kind of surprised about Atlanta one, and then the Satu Sabali in New York. That's another one. I will give him credit. At 23%, that was groundbreaking. That was shaking because you thought maybe she was going back to the Mercury, and then there's always something going on with the Mercury in the background. I swear, there's never anything normal going on there. There's always some like clickiness, some like weird like owner. Well, the owner's Matt Ishbia now, so we'll see if it continues to traject that way or go differently. Um, yeah, I don't. Yeah, Satu Savali, I'll give him credit. This one's a good one. And then most improved team for 2026. Um, Number three, 13%. Los Angeles Sparks. Fair. Chicago, 20%. I said this to somebody I was talking to. I said, at least Chicago won't be a rollover slash rest game this year for other teams. You're gonna have to go into Chicago and actually try to win because they got pros over there now. So I guess yeah. And then Dallas 67. Which team will be most improved? What does most improved mean? Does it mean more wins? Does that mean better watching? Like I don't know if I want to give Dallas that. I guess by either of those merits, sure. Why not? By either of those metrics and like watchability and like better game and like more wins, sure, I'll give it. If the if if the line is 9 wins and you get 10 wins, is that an improvement? Or if you get to like say like 19, is that an improvement? 10 more wins, is that an improvement? I don't know. We're gonna sort of skip this international slash rookie stuff. I mean, the only one I do want to talk about here is who will win Rookie of the Year, and Olivia Miles at 73%. Wow, wow! I was not expecting that. And then they have Flajay Johnson here as well. Wow. Okay. Hell yeah. Good job, James. That's the one I like. That's the one I like. Um. Oh wow. That's a crazy one. Which rookie will be the best player in 5 years? I said this. I sat here and said this. It's somebody I like, and I'll leave it at that. Um, which rookie was the biggest steal at where she was selected in the draft? Sure, I don't know about that one. Which international player? Who's the best international player in the WNBA? Can I? I hate to do this because like I it's kind of offensive. Like the Bahamas and like the Caribbean shouldn't count as international because it's literally like a boat ride away from the states. Like it shouldn't really count. And they have a player here who I don't think is the best international player, and I don't think should count as international if I'm being honest, personally. Um, but I guess if the GMs think it, it must be the truth. And then said, which country outside the U.S. is producing the best WNBA talent right now? Um, France, 100% of the vote. That's it. No honorable mention, no nothing. And last year it was the same. France. Um, Defense. Who is the best defensive player in the WNBA? Yeah, I like these. I mean, honorable mentions: Alana Smith, Dejanay Carrington. Hell yeah. Alyssa Thomas at number three, 13%. I mean, if your job is to just stand in the paint and look big, I guess you can get 13 votes. Sure. I mean, I wouldn't consider. I mean, hell, she got a shot drilled over her and her wife in the finals by Asia Wilson. Yeah, no, you're not you're not a really good defender. I'm sorry. That is singed into my brain. That is melted into my brain. Number two, Gabby Williams. Hell yeah, Golden State. Hell yeah, Gabby Williams and Asia Wilson. Oh, Gabby Williams at 20%, and then Asia Wilson 53%. Definitely the best defender. Who's the best interior defender? Well, look who's there at number tied for number three. Alyssa Thomas. Yeah, standing in the paint does get you votes. Congrats. Ezzy McMagor of Seattle. Is she even gonna play? Izzy McMagor is an interesting one. I don't know if she's gonna play for Seattle this year. We'll see what happens. Whoever gets her is gonna get a really good defender, according to other GMs. So, Alana Smith, obviously co-defensive player of the year with Asia Wilson last year, received 13% of the votes. And Asia Wilson number one, best interior defender. And then best perimeter defender, Gabby Williams. Hell yeah. I'm riding for Gabby Williams this year. If you haven't noticed, I really like what she's doing with her career, and where the whole story of her is interesting. But her getting the flowers that she deserves now is great. Which team will be the best defensive team in the WNBA? Golden State. I'm skipping ahead, but Golden State 50%. I wouldn't have thought that. Mm, maybe. I don't know, but I don't know. I'd have to look. I mean, I can look at their team. I mean, let's go to where are they? Golden State. They got. Mm, I don't know. Navi. I don't know about that one. They might be off their rocker on that one. I don't know about 50%. Atlanta, just because of their size, I would have voted for Atlanta. Their size is gonna be. They're gonna be big next year. They're gonna be huge. Some lineups are gonna be huge. Um, and then Indiana. I don't know how Indiana snuck in here. I guess. I mean, people are still reminiscing over their finals run or their semifinals run. So I guess in the Minnesota, I wouldn't have even touched Minnesota with a 10-foot pole if you told me they were gonna be a good defensive team. Um, Coaching category. Which is the best head coach in the WNBA? Natalie Nasake still riding that run of seven of making the playoffs as a what do you call it, a expansion team. Sure, I mean, I think Natalie's gonna have a lot of eyes on her, and I'm not sure she's gonna be able to handle it with that team. Because if they sink even a little bit and they miss the playoffs, it's not gonna look good for Natalie. Becky Hammond's here. To be fair, and I'm gonna criticize my own team here because I've been criticizing everybody else. Um, I deserve to criticize my own team as well. I don't think Becky's a really good X's and O's coach. I said this in another video about another player. Sometimes Becky's game plan, if you guys watch the NBA and Coach Tyronn Lue when he coached the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James, there's a picture of him holding up a whiteboard, and it says, and it's edited. It's an edited photo. It says, "Pass the ball to LeBron" or "Get the ball to LeBron" is the play, and that's what Becky does sometimes is get the ball to Asia. And I think she's a bit overrated as a coach, as an X's and O's coach, but um, she deserves to be top five. I don't know if I put her at two, but and then number one, Cheryl Reeves of the Minnesota Lynx at 53%, and Becky was at 40. Now this is where I can get behind this. Which head coach is the best motivator? Was the best manager and motivator of people? And then Becky Hammond's here with 43% of the vote. Everybody else is tied for second, 14%, 14%, 14%. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Becky's not a good X's and O's coach. She's a good manager of people and a good motivator. Shout out Becky. Um, Here we are again. Which head coach makes the best in-game adjustments? And Cheryl Reeves is here again. And I totally agree. Some of them might be weird, but I can get behind that. Um, Nate Tibbetts is here. I think he deserves to be higher. I totally think he deserves to be higher. Um, Becky's here, but again, I don't think she's that good at X's and O's. Which coach runs the best offense? Cheryl Reeves is number one again, 33%. And then Nate Tibbetts finally gets his due at number two, 20%. And then tied for number three, there's a couple coaches here that have already been mentioned. And then Carl Semesco is also here on this, which coach runs the best offense. We're going to see. We're going to put that to test. We're going to put that to a test next year, or this year, Carl. We're going to see if you do run the best offense, if you can fit Angel Reese into your offense, how offensively limited she is. Oh, this is a fun one. Which new or relocated head coach will make the biggest impact on his or her new team? There are a couple new. There are three new coaches here, in fact, but there's one returning coach, who got swooped up immediately, who's the WNBA champion, who's been in the league a long time, Sandy Brondello in Toronto. I I agree. Sandy has the most experience, so hopefully she has one of the better teams, I think, out of all these teams. So we will see um, if she can actually do it again. Um, Best assistant coach. I don't know any of these names, so I'm not gonna criticize any of them. Which active player would make the best head coach someday? Uh, okay, well, Chelsea Gray's at one at 50%, and then Courtney Vandersloot's here. If you've been following the Courtney Vandersloot saga, Courtney Vandersloot is injured right now, and she's recovering from like she blew out her knee or something. It was horrific last year. It happened early last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if you forgot about her. But she's got her fingers so dirty in the Chicago Sky GM's office. And to be quite honest, my opinion of Courtney Vandersloot has plummeted so much. I wouldn't want to go near her if I wouldn't want to as a player, as a teammate. I wouldn't want her as a coach. I wouldn't want her as a GM. Cause man, oh man, she gets her hands dirty, like ugh, yucky. Um, which retired player who isn't already coaching in the W should be? Um, Lindsay Harding. I don't know Lindsay Harding. Maybe if I saw her face, I would know her. Lisa Leslie. I don't know if Lisa Leslie would be a good coach. Seeing how she works out and like tries to help these young players, a lot of her disciples haven't improved greatly. So I don't know. Diana Taurasi, I say this lovingly. Diana Taurasi's too much of an asshole to be a coach. Too much. Like no. Um, I'm gonna save one of these names for later because I actually do think they'd be a very good coach because they already are in that coaching uh, vein and circle. Candace Parker, same thing with Diana Taurasi. I think Candace Parker is a little too abrasive for this younger generation. They don't get it. She's at 14%. Katie Smith, I have no idea who Katie Smith is. Maybe if I saw her picture, I'd know her. 14%. Sue Bird, 36. I think Sue Bird's a really good builder of teams. She did a great job with the women's team USA this couple months ago. I don't know if she'd be a good coach. She seems opposite of Diana. She seems too nice, and she seems like she gets attached too easily and lets her bias show through too much. But here's one: Simone Augustus. If this is the Simone Augustus I'm thinking of, she's already an assistant coach at LSU. I think that's her. She's an alumni there, so she is already in coaching. And I think anybody that's already started coaching this young will eventually be a halfway decent coach. Because she's only been retired maybe 8 years, 6 years now, maybe. So I think she'd be really good. Shout out Simone Augustus. And now finally we're in miscellaneous. Um, Rounding out this video, I think this is the last. Yeah, this is the last category. Lovely. And we'll just do a couple of these. These are fun ones. Which team will be the most fun to watch? Guess what? Guess what team is going to be the most fun to watch, guys? Guess which one? Not the defending champs. No, they're not going to be the most fun to watch. No, no, not the Seattle Storm. Not any other team that could possibly have an interesting season. No, it's the Dallas Wings because of course it is. I mean, right? Yeah, yeah, of course, right? They're gonna be so much fun, right? Yeah, okay, whatever. Um, Atlanta tied at two with Indiana and then Golden State. Actually, I don't know which team would be the most fun to watch. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think the Sky gonna be fun just because on the court and off the court, it's gonna be interesting. Sparks, I think Sparks are gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how much of either they are on a dumpster fire of New York. That'd be my answer. Um, and yeah, not Dallas. No, you think a rookie head coach is gonna make a team fun to watch? Really? That's what you're telling me? Okay. Which team has the best home court advantage? Golden State. True. Indiana's up there, but I know how some people feel about Indiana. We won't go there. For sure, Golden State, Chase Center. Yeah, hell yeah. Which team has the most promising young core? Oh, crap! I'm not even gonna be this disrespectful to this team that's here at number one. You can find out who it is. I'm not even touching it. I'm not even touching this. I'm gonna leave this here. Which player is the most athletic? Brittany Sykes. Uh, yes. Dominique Malonga can also dunk, so she got 50% of the vote. 15. Um, I think Flage is gonna steal Brittany Sykes' title. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but definitely in the years to come for sure. Who's the best passer? Chelsea Gray got 93% of the vote. Caitlin Clark got 7%. I've been the biggest critic of Caitlin Clark's passes. She needs to like tap in with like Chris Paul or like Steve Nash and learn how to throw a pass accurately. She has some brilliant passes, but they slip out of her teammates' hands. They go over their heads. It's too low. It's too high. It's too hot. Like, you gotta improve that stuff. Um, which player is the best leader? Asia Wilson, leading by example and using her voice now. Congrats to her. Most versatile player. Okay, sure. I'm not going to read that one. That one you can read for yourselves, guys. Again, I'm going to leave it down below. Which player has the best IQ? Chelsea Gray. I could believe that. I get behind that. Which player would you want taking the final shot with the game on the line? Two aces. Three aces, actually. Wow, okay. We got three closers. Lovely. Chelsea, Asia, and Jackie. The percentages don't matter. They all hit big shots. Hell yeah. Which two teams will lead their conference in the Commissioner Cup to reach the championship game? We're really doing Commissioner Cup stuff. I don't care enough about the Commissioner Cup. I mean, you guys can, congrats, but I don't. It's such a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Yeah, and last year they got it completely wrong. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, no, I'm not touching that one. Uh, which change to the league this year will require the biggest adjustment? And I agree with this one. The developmental player spots. We've already seen teams kind of fumble the developmental player spot. I don't know if teams are gonna get the actual like the actual like purpose of the developmental player spot till like year three, because like this year there's already kind of stupid ones, next year's probably gonna be more stupid ones, and then the third time around they'll probably get it right. And then also on the list, new expansion teams. I mean, more travel, sure, more rest. You're gonna have to pick which. Yeah, I could get that. 25%. New CBA, 17%. I mean, yeah, we've already seen teams pay players more than they probably should have, or overpay, or underpay, or whatever. New and then World Cup break. I didn't even know we were having a World Cup break, so that's how impactful it's going to be to the WNBA season. I don't know, but yeah, that's it. That is the WNBA GM survey um, for 2026. If you want to check out the other ones, they are at the bottom of this survey: the 2026 one, the 2025 one, the 2024 one. Um, yeah. Sorry if I was a little harsh to your team in this video. This again, this is my reaction. These are my opinions. I didn't look at this beforehand, so these are my raw, real reactions to these numbers, to these names, to these percentages. So yeah, um, I don't know when this video is gonna go out. It'll probably have to go out before the WNBA season starts. So whenever you guys get this, I hope you enjoyed. The end screen should be playing right now. Um, Click the video on the left. It is my top 50 players going into the next season for the WNBA. Check out my women's hoops playlist on the right. And if you click my little icon right at the bottom of the middle of the screen, a little subscribe button will pop up and you can subscribe with ease. And you should like and comment as well. And I will see you all next time. Cheers.